Part 135. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1341. From Fang Fan's point of view, he felt that his subordinates had enough combat power. Roll over the other side. It can only be said that it is very easy. What if the enemy has hundreds of thousands of elites? The 10-star Emperor level law, the heavy machine gunners, immediately stopped in front of them, and they could directly shoot in all directions. There are a total of 12 low heavy machine gunners in the low heavy machine gunners plus the commander Balis. Every low heavy machine gunner can even shoot hundreds or even thousands of law bullets a minute. You must know that they all exist in the 10-star Emperor realm. So these law bullets have been shot, but it is basically difficult to resist any enemies below the 10-star Emperor realm. You may not die after being shot, but don't be complacent, because soon, you will have as many as 2, 5, even 100 bullets on your body. This is the charm of the low heavy machine gunner. They have extremely strong bodies, and they can even carry the low heavy machine guns in their hands for crazy bombing without restrictions. A regular heavy machine gun fires hundreds of thousands of rounds a minute. 12, tens of thousands of bullets a minute. Even if it takes 10 bullets or even 100 bullets to kill an enemy cultivator, this is a rather terrifying number of casualties. What's more, there are too many enemies, and they are the perfect target. The soldiers of the Gothic Sharpshooter Corps are responsible for long-range sniping of high-level combat power in the enemy army. The soldiers of the low heavy machine gun corps are responsible for scanning and killing the ordinary combat power in the enemy army. Under the combination of the two, this is a symbol of invincibility. Fang Fan secretly narrowed his eyes, and the corners of his mouth rose wildly. There's still something to show for it. In addition to this, plus the tens of thousands of undead soldiers summoned by the Yellow Turban Warlock Legion are all in the real King realm and the Emperor realm, which directly fills the gap in quantity. And the Legion skills Curse and Corrosion of the Yellow Turban Warlock Legion can also reduce the enemy's combat power. In addition to the other 7 10-star Emperor level legions fighting against each other, almost all the cultivators in the enemy army who are below the realm of Quasi-Sage can be wiped out. As for the more than 100 quasi-sacred powerhouses, in fact, after a wave of attacks by heroes such as Galen, nearly 30 were killed in an instant. Now there are almost 90 quasi-sage powerhouses. 5 top quasi-sages, Garen, Jax, and Kyle's 3 top-ranked quasi-sage heroes are not at a disadvantage. Caitlyn is madly killing quasi-sage powerhouses, and every time Daji casts a spell, she can directly take away a quasi-sage powerhouse. As for Vega, his dark magic still condenses slowly. When Vega's dark magic takes shape, the battle is almost settled. Fang Fan secretly raised his eyebrows, only feeling relaxed and casual. Then he picked up a 4-star holy sword. This is what Xiao Xiao obtained in the sword tomb before. At that time, Xiao Xiao obtained 3 holy swords of the holy artifact level at one time, one of which was a 5-star holy sword, and the other 2 were 4-star holy swords. Thinking of this, Fang Fan couldn't help clenching his teeth. Xiao Xiao was still in a coma in the small world of Shushan Pavilion. He needed to obtain a batch of God's source power and belief power as soon as possible. In addition to the power of the gods and the power of faith needed by Xiao Xiao to restore the soul, the heaven-slaying sword also needs. In the previous Emperor's catastrophe, Fang Fan paid a huge price. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1342. The battle plunged into the hardy. Fang Fan's complexion gradually changed, holding a 4-star holy sword, wearing a 1-star sanctuary level swallowing holy armor, and flew directly into the crowd. With the sword in his hand, a low-level quasi-sage kills him instantly. Whizzing. The 2 middle-level quasi-sages stared at Fang Fan. According to the order, they only need to kill Fang Fan, which is a great achievement. And, you can also take the opportunity to capture the supreme treasure on Fang Fan's body. Intermediate Quasi-Sage. Haha. Azura Bloodline. Explosion. Fang Fan snorted coldly, and the power of boundless blood burst out from all over his body. This was when he was still on the human plane, and he swallowed the power of blood that Shiraguo realized. At first, it was only the lowest level low-level bloodline, but now, by swallowing other bloodlines for a long time, it has become incomparably powerful. Bloodline, Azura's top bloodline, 37%. Bloodline Feature 1, Battle Spirit, Bloodline increases combat power by 200%. The display requires mental support. Bloodline Feature 2, Devour, by swallowing other bloodlines to become powerful and evolved. The display requires mental support. Bloodline Feature 3, Deterrence, the derived bloodline feature that devours the bloodline of the deep-sea overlord, can deter marine demonized beasts and control low-level marine demonized beasts. Exercising mental support. Azura bloodline currently only has this bloodline characteristic, but each bloodline characteristic is so strong that it bursts. The first bloodline characteristic of Azura's top bloodline is Battle Spirit, which directly increases the combat power by 200%. That is to double the combat power. The second bloodline characteristic is to swallow, to carry out endless swallowing, so that the bloodline can continue to be promoted. As for the third bloodline characteristic, speaking of which, it was the derived bloodline characteristic obtained after devouring the bloodline of the deep-sea overlord, which had a certain deterrent effect on marine creatures. At the beginning, Fang Fan only had the low-level bloodline of Azura, and he could only increase his combat power by 20%. Later, upgrading to the intermediate bloodline can increase the combat power by 50%, and the advanced bloodline can increase the combat power by 100%. Even the current top Azura bloodline can directly increase the combat power by 200%. It can only be said that it is powerful to an extreme. Once the top bloodline of Azura breaks out, in theory, the mental power will not be destroyed, and the effect will continue to be maintained. However, the mental power required to maintain the top bloodline of Azura is indeed a great burden. For Fang Fan, he couldn't hold on for too long. But this time is enough. Fighting power soars. Crazy gathering. This is invincibility. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, and the corners of his mouth rose silently. Kill. With the sound of Fang Fan's anger, he directly held the 4-star holy sword and killed one of the middle-level quasi-sacred. Sonorous. Click. The high-level quasi-holy sword in the hands of this middle-level quasi-holy shattered directly. Fang Fan's sword is undiminished, and he continues to move forward bravely. Stab. Click. The long sword slashed into the body of this middle-level quasi-sage, and cut off half of its body at one time. Blood, cross-flow. The scene was once extremely bloody. Fang Fan's hands were gradually stained blood-red by the splashed blood. The scene was once terrifying. Another Tianjian Palace middle-level quasi-sage was instantly stunned. In any case, he never thought that his companion would be cold so easily. This is a middle-level quasi-sage. Killed by a low-level quasi-sacred sword? How weird it looks. He hesitated for a moment, and after reacting, he began to flee frantically. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1343. It's a pity that he has missed the best time to escape. Fang Fan had already attacked him directly. At this moment, the middle-level quasi-sage of Tianjian Palace was trying to escape with his back facing Fang Fan. Fang Fan didn't spend much effort, just waved the 4-star holy sword in his hand lightly, and cut off his head directly. From activating the Azura top bloodline and starting the battle to the present, less than a minute. The scene instantly collapsed. Everyone's eyes showed a look of horror. Those who originally wanted to come to take advantage of the Emperor realm and even the quasi-sanctuary practitioners began to retreat to the side. Why is this Fang Fan so strong? He passed the Emperor's heavenly tribulation, and is only a low-level quasi-sacred realm. How can I kill a middle-level quasi-sacred like walking with clouds and flowing water, smoothly and freely? I'll slap it. Is this the power of the genius boss? I don't deserve it. This Fang Fandu's Emperor Tianjiao is so perverted, maybe he has become more perverted after passing through. Grass, didn't you see that what he was holding in his hand was a holy artifact? And the lowest 3-star holy artifact started. That's right. And what I'm wearing, it seems to be a holy level armor. It's a mother hummer, everyone is a top match, do we have chicken feathers? Ah! Heaven is unfair. It is estimated that only high-level quasi-saints can subdue him. Well, I think so too. Everyone sighed, and wherever Fang Fan arrived, cultivators at the mid-level quasi-sage and below were defeated one after another. They would rather face a quasi-sage like Galen Jax than Fang Fan. To put it bluntly, it is a deep sense of psychological fear. And, quasi-sages like Galen Jax naturally have quasi-sages to oppose them, so it is difficult to draw out their hands to deal with them, but Fang Fan is different. Trample. In 10 minutes, dozens of quasi-sages died in Fang Fan's hands. At the beginning, there were only 100 quasi-sage powerhouses gathered by the major forces. Later, it was attacked by Galen Daji and others, killing 30 people. One after another, Galen and other 6 quasi-sage heroes have killed 50 or 60 quasi-sages. Plus the dozen or so beheaded by Fang Fan. Almost 70 quasi-sages of the major forces were killed inexplicably. The number of quasi-sages dropped directly to 50. 5 of them are quasi-sages. The gap at this moment has been completely revealed. Fang Fan sighed, abandoning Chen Tianyuan, the supreme quasi-sage, needs to guard Chen Tianxi, Chen Tianshan, and the others, so he cannot join the battlefield. The rest are 6 quasi-sages such as Galen. There are only 5 of them. It used to occupy the numerical advantage of some low-level quasi-jihad forces, but now, this advantage is collapsing crazily. It may soon be wiped out directly. For the major forces, this battle was as stable as Mount Tai from the beginning, to the thrilling later. Many forces have been unable to hold on. Patriarch, 2 more quasi-sages were beheaded. Our Yuchi family really can't hold it this time. 10 of the quasi-sage powerhouses have died. Patriarch. Let's not hold on. A quasi-sage from the Yuchi family escaped from the rain of blood. At this moment, he was thrilled for a while, and the fear on his face seemed extraordinarily real. Just now, he was almost beheaded by Fang Fan Shun with a sword. Fortunately, a low-level quasi-sage who was worshipped by the Chen Tian clan became a ghost. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1344. However, although he had saved his life, at this moment, the quasi-sage of the Yuchi clan no longer dared to attack. The sense of fear that came from the depths of his heart made him tremble, and even, a sense of powerlessness. This sense of powerlessness permeated his entire body and mind, causing him to lose his fighting spirit in an instant. For this quasi-sage of the Yuchi family, even if he were to be killed now, he would not be willing to kill him. Stand up. I never thought about dying. But the Tianjian Palace, the Yuchi family is a big worshipper, all of them are staring at us. If there is any change, it's the same as directly offending their 2 major forces. Yuchi Wei, the head of the Yuchi family, gritted his teeth, and a helpless and aggrieved look appeared in his eyes. He subconsciously ignored the Baisha ancestor of the Earth Shizong. The Earth Fiend sect is indeed a third-rank force, but the quasi-sage powerhouse gathered here at the moment is the only seedling of the Baisha ancestor, and it is also a high-level quasi-sage, nothing to be concerned about. But the Heavenly Sword Palace and the Chen Heavenly Clan's great worship line are different. The former is led by Jianzun, the master of the Tianjian Palace, and the latter is led by the great worship of the Chen Tian clan. Although the Chen Tian clan is divided, the Chen Tian clan's great worship line has at least controlled more than half of the power of a third-rank family. From the perspective of Yuchi Wei, the head of the Yuchi family, he must think more, and he cannot afford to provoke any of them. Patriarch, do you think they can get out of here alive? Have you not noticed the strangeness of that Fang Fan? I checked his details and said that it originated from a cultivator in the lower third-class galaxy, the Luminous Galaxy, but do you think a cultivator of the Luminous Galaxy can have 6 supreme quasi-sages as guards under his command? Maybe it's the son of a certain superpower who came to travel the world. He must have a stronger trump card in his hand. Third-rank forces like Tianjian Palace may be able to hold on, but our Yuchi family really can't bear it. Patriarch, leave some seeds for our Yuchi family. If the Yuchi family is dead, let alone the third-rank forces, they will be wiped out by other hostile forces in minutes. The quasi-sage of the Yuchi family said bitterly that although the main reason was that he was afraid and did not want to continue to die on the battlefield, so he urged Yuchi Wei, the head of the Yuchi family, to evacuate, but the phenomenon he expressed was very real. Yuchi Wei fell into a long silence. The Yuchi family is the top 4th-rank force, but there are only 20 quasi-sage powerhouses together. Now 10 people have been beheaded, almost half of the powerhouses. The Yuchi family can't keep going. Now there are only a dozen quasi-sages left in the Yuchi family, and they can barely hold the face of a 4th-rank force. Ah, Patriarch, save me. Seeing that another mid-level quasi-sage in the family was killed, Yuchi Wei was helpless. No. Absolutely can't go on like this. The Yuchi family can't die in my hands. All practitioners of the Yuchi family, evacuate. Evacuate quickly. Don't continue to die. It's important to save your life. Withdraw. After Yuchi Wei, the head of the Yuchi family, finished saying these words, the whole person collapsed, but suddenly he felt much more relaxed. The tight string finally loosened. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1345. At least for now, the Yuchi family can reduce more casualties. Isn't that what he wants? As for saying that he would offend the Chen Tian clan's great worship line and Tianjian Palace, at this moment he can't worry about it. People do not kill themselves for their own sake. The head of the Yuchi clan, Yuchi Wei, gave a cold cry, and then his body madly retreated, and led the cultivators of the Yuchi clan to fully evacuate the battlefield. The scene has changed dramatically again. There were only 50 quasi-sages left in the major forces, and 5 of them were absolute quasi-sages. Now that the Yuchi family has evacuated across the board, it is equivalent to a dozen quasi-sages, and a top quasi-sage have also slipped away. The lineup of practitioners from the major forces has declined again. There are only more than 30 quasi-sacred powerhouses left, and 4 of them are quasi-sages. And this number is still falling like crazy. Because with the continuous progress of the battle, the casualties of the quasi-saints of the major forces will only increase. Fang Fan casually killed another low-level quasi-sage. Seeing the decisive withdrawal of the Yuchi family, there was a somewhat surprised look on his face. To be able to resolutely choose to evacuate at this time, just this is not easy. Fang Fan did not choose to continue chasing and killing the practitioners of the Yuchi family. For him, these were all minor roles. The enemy's forces are gradually disintegrating, which is a good thing for Fang Fan. Ya Chai Wei. Are you crazy? Who allowed you to evacuate at this time? If you dare to evacuate, there will be no place for your Yuchi family to stand in the Chentian Star region from now on. Get back. Get back for me. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. The face of Chen Tianxuan, the great worshipper of the Chen Tian clan, was already extremely red, and as he spoke, the expression on his face became more and more excited. Now their major forces are at a disadvantage, and if the Yuchi family is to be evacuated again, it will be really cool. Form, too dangerous. The head of the Tianjian Palace, Jianzun, gave a cold look at Yuchi Wei, the head of the Yuchi family, and the threat in his eyes was obvious. Fleeing at this moment is a traitor. When I free up my hands, I will definitely be strangled. The master of Tianjian Palace, Jianzun, turned his head and gave a cold drink while fighting Galen. The evacuation of the Yuchi family across the board is not only a weakening of the strength, but to a certain extent, it is a signal of defeat. Collapse, may be on the line. What? The head of the Yuchi family, Yuchi Wei, suddenly roared, the circles of his eyes instantly turned red, his hands were tightly clasped, and the corners of his mouth twitched wildly. At this moment, he was in a struggle. But this kind of struggle is only a momentary thing, something that has been decided, no need to think about it. Chen Tian is dedicated. Palace Master Jianzun. I'm sorry. I can't control your siege on Fang Fan. Your family has a great business, and you can besiege as much as you want, but I can't afford it. I've said it a long time ago, Fang Fan is not easy to provoke, and there will even be a true god behind him. Or, he is simply the inheritor of a superpower. Imagine, among the major third-rank forces around, who can dispatch 6 supreme quasi-sages to serve as guards for their descendants. That's all, you have to seek death yourself, and I can't control it. Your threats are useless to me. Because if you don't leave, you will all stay here, that is to say, completely defeated. After Yuchi Wei, the head of the Yuchi family, finished speaking, he frantically evacuated without looking back. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1346. Court Death? He doesn't want to do this kind of thing. The master of the Tianjian Palace, Jianzun, and the Chen Tian family who worship Chen Tianxuan, his face is terrifyingly black at this moment. The two of them are the main force. On the one hand, Jianzun, the master of Tianjian Palace, wants to avenge his son, on the other hand, he wants to get the chance in Fang Fan's hands. As for the great worship of Chen Tianxuan by the Chen Tian clan, he can only fight to the end. Because he is a traitor of the Chen Tian clan, under his leadership this time, the main line of the Chen Tian clan suffered heavy casualties. Now he will either completely destroy the main line of the Chen Tian clan and kill Fang Fan, or he will die in chaos. The two people who were forced to a dead end are brewing their final killer move. As for the Baisha ancestor of the Earthsha sect, he appeared for a while at the beginning of the war, but now he seems to have completely slipped away. Fang Fan, do you really think you're ready to eat me? My sword sovereign has been across the Tianjian Star territory for tens of thousands of years, and it's not something you can fight against if you want. Heavenly Sword Slash. Tianjian Palace's palace master Jianming suddenly took off, and the killing light flashed in his eyes. As he spoke, he rushed towards Fang Fan's position frantically. The power of an all-out strike from a quasi-sage can be imagined. If it is really hacked, even an ordinary quasi-sage will definitely be unbearable. Heavenly Sword Slash, this is the unspoken secret of the Heavenly Sword Palace. It can even unleash the power that is infinitely close to the power of the sanctuary. I don't know if you have heard of it. It is said that the master of the Tianjian Palace, Jianzun, killed a quasi-sacred powerhouse of the same rank with this move. It's so terrifying. Now he's slashing directly at that Fang Fan. That Fang Fan doesn't have any strong guards by his side. Hey, it's very likely that it's cold. Heavenly Sword Palace Master's scheming is still deep. 10,000 generals are beheading, tisk tisk tisk, this operation looks very strong. I admire and admire, as long as this Fang Fan is beheaded, everything will be rewritten. Haha, the 6 quasi-sacred guards under Fang Fan's command seem to be quite strong now, but if Fang Fan is beheaded, he may not have the desire to fight again. It's a pity, if this Fang Fan rises up, he is quite strong. Counter-attacking and killing a middle-level quasi-sage with a low-level quasi-sacred realm is as casual as cutting a melon, it's already very popular. No matter how much he is criticized, what can he do? He is not dealing with a low-level quasi-sage and a middle-rank quasi-sage, and the sword life of the palace master of the Tianjian Palace, which is extremely quasi-sacred. And he is still the kind of absolute quasi-sacred. Top quasi-sage. Can he win this trick? Speaking of which, how come the sky has become dark? What is the situation with those black mists? Wait, I don't know, it's a little strange. Never mind. Hurry up and watch this classic battle. I suspect that Fang Fan would kill him with one sword. Isn't it one-shot kill or several swords? What kind of situation do you have no points in your heart? A generation of arrogance, so cool. Faced with this sudden sword move, no one thought Fang Fan would be able to withstand it. Because Fang Fan's warrior-type quasi-sacred guards are still too far away to support. At this moment, Fang Fan is surrounded by a few 10-star Emperor-level guards. And the timing of the lore chosen by the Master Swordsman of the Tianjian Palace is particularly good. To sum up, in the eyes of everyone, this is the moment of lore. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1347. The black fog in the sky is getting thicker and thicker. The sword of Tianjian Palace's master, Jianzun, is also getting closer. Everything seems so heart palpitating. Facing the boundless ultimate move, Fang Fan raised his mouth slightly and smiled lightly. Vega's dark magic takes shape. It's time for this battle to come to an end. Fang Fan yawned and rubbed his swollen head by the way. It took too much mental energy to activate Azura's top bloodline just now, and it was a bit overrun. Seeing Fang Fan standing dumbfounded and not evading, the smile on the face of the master of the Tianjian Palace, Jianzun, who flew over from a distance, became more and more obvious. At this moment, thinking about it, the corners of his mouth rose wildly, and his hands were folded in front of him. The sound of inhalation is very real. Immediately, he can behead this enchanting evildoer. He can get what he wants. What an exciting news this is. The revenge of my son can be avenged. Fang Fan's treasure can be taken away. Fang Fan's chance can be taken away. 3 birds with 1 stone. Tianjian Palace Master Jianzun thought so in his heart, and the corners of his mouth raised more and more. This black mist, what is it? The master of Tianjian Palace, Jianzun, suddenly frowned, and he couldn't help but look at the black mist in front of him. The sense of surprise on his face became more and more. This feeling, very real, but also very abrupt. Forget it, beheading Fang Fan is the most important thing. The master of the Tianjian Palace, Jianzun, just glanced at it indifferently, and then gave up continuing to investigate, and instead focused all his attention on Fang Fan. The black mist is getting closer. Dark sacrifice. Dark matter. Twisted space. Energy burst. Extraordinary evil power. Little Mage Wajir recited softly, and a pair of dark eyes flashed with bloody rays of light. Swoosh swish. The black mist formed by the dark magic surged wildly and shot out in all directions. The largest cloud of black mist rushed towards the sword master of the Tianjian Palace. What a powerful energy! What the hell is this? The face of the master of the Tianjian Palace, Jianzun, suddenly sank, and the sword in his hand was forced to turn. He felt a dangerous aura. He felt that if he insisted on attacking the opponent, then these black mists would most likely kill him directly. Although it is tempting to kill Fang Fan, but in order to save his own life, he could only be forced to interrupt his thoughts. Boom! Sword Sovereign and the black mist collide together. Boom! The black mist burst out immediately, attached to the robe and iron armor, and frantically began to corrode the robe and iron armor, until it penetrated into the flesh. Accompanied by bursts of slight explosions, everyone's body and mind were destroyed step by step. The master of Tianjian Palace, Jianzun, twitched his lips, his face flushed red. Because after those black weapons sputtered on his face, they began to corrode crazily. At this moment, his entire face was completely abolished. Fear. Panic. To the point of being helpless. What? Damn. Fang Fan. You wanna die? Lord Jianzun of Tianjian Palace roared angrily. He wanted to force his way towards Fang Fan's position. Let the bullets fly. Boom. Caitlin's bullet burst out, and Vega's dark magic combined, complement each other. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1348. There was a look of fear on the face of the master of the Tianjian Palace, Jianzun, and then frantically began to flee. Dark magic has completely destroyed his defenses and corroded most of his combat power. That bullet was a deadly death bullet. Escape. The thought flashed in the mind of the master of the Tianjian Palace, Jianzun, and then he no longer hesitated, and his body burst out. At this moment, he doesn't dare to care anymore, because he really feels the breath of death. The moment just now, it was completely cold. Even the whole person is like flipping in the air, which is extremely terrifying. Escape has now become the clearest order in the mind of this heavenly sword palace master. Caitlin's death bullets are flying extremely fast. Ripped everything and arrived straight away. After all, the speed of Tianjian Palace's master Jianzun's escape is still a little slower. Boom. Stab. The bullet hit Jianzun's coccyx and exploded directly from the body. Boom. The two legs of the Lord Sword Master of the Tianjian Palace were directly blown away, and the entire lower half was blurred with blood. What? Pain. Fang Fan. Fang Fan. This palace master will kill you. This palace master will kill you. The master of the Tianjian Palace, Jianzun, gritted his teeth and shouted. The whole person was in a state of madness, the body trembled, and the sound of inhalation became rapid again and again. He didn't die, he survived. It's just that his state at the moment is probably not much different from that of death. The black mist formed by dark magic is still spreading wildly around. It is not only the master swordsman of the Tianjian Palace who is attacked, but everyone on the enemy side. This is a wave of coverage killing. Where the dark magic resides, all perish. Escape. Escape. ICAO, this black mist, it seems, a little touch, the body will directly fester and corrode. This is a godlike method, we are not opponents at all. Withdraw. Withdraw. I don't want to die. Grass. Live well, who wants to die? Don't pull me when you want to die. It's really time for those practitioners from the Yuchi family to run. But let's forget it. Hee, our Chen Tianda worship is more than enough to fail. Do you think he can be as clear-headed as the head of the Yuchi family? Huh, if we knew earlier that we wouldn't betray the main line of the Chen Tian family, if we are still loyal to the Qinshinyuan family at this moment, where would there be such a thing? Hey, it's all our own fault for choosing Chen Tianxun as a waste. Stop bullshitting. Run. The weird black mist is here again. Trembling. Evacuate at full speed. The battle situation collapsed directly. For them, this is the game of death. Anyway, if you can't beat it, you can't escape. The master of the Tianjian Palace, Jianzun, was hanged and beaten into scum. Do you still expect them to continue to guard here? Is it possible? A few quasi-sages at the top of the mountain, fleeing to the death, the original good situation collapsed in an instant. Fang Fan stretched his back and walked forward surrounded by heroes and legions. The expression on his face was very indifferent from beginning to end. Those who are still on the battlefield, kill them all. Take all the god crystals, cards, and loot that exploded. This wave of harvest is not bad. The corners of Fang Fan's mouth rose, and the expression on his face was very indifferent. As he spoke, he continued to walk forward. Every enemy cultivator is a small moving vault. The kind that looks cute. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1349. Gradually, Fang Fan approached the master swordsman of Tianjian Palace. At this moment, he fled frantically, surrounded by the practitioners of Tianjian Palace. Fang Fan glanced at it, but saw a familiar face in it. Huangjian Doke, one of the 8 swords of Tianjian Palace, is a middle-level quasi-sage cultivation base. This guy had a dispute with Fang Fan before, and even, almost killed him. Fang Fan saw Doke, and Doke naturally also saw Fang Fan. Doke opened his mouth, the expression on his face was very wonderful, he gritted his teeth and sighed softly. When he wanted to kill Fang Fan threatened the life of the master swordsman of Tianjian Palace, so Doke hesitated at the beginning, and failed to kill Fang Fan successfully. I didn't expect such a big disaster to happen now. Huangjian Doke, one of the 8 swords of Tianjian Palace, pondered to himself, his eyes were not only regretful, but also shocking. When I was chasing him back then, the guards around him seemed to be in the realm of 3-star emperors. What happened in the secret realm of Chen Tian that made such a big change in the pattern? I can't figure it out. I really can't figure it out. If such a peerless genius cannot have a good relationship, then the best way is to completely obliterate him when he is weak. It's just now, it's too late to say everything. This peerless genius has risen completely. Huangjian Doke was talking, and he blocked it outright. As a member of the Tianjian Palace, he must make sacrifices at this moment. Sacrifice to protect the Palace Lord 1. It's just that his blocking was a joke. Boom. Caitlin fires a shot. The bullet sped towards him. Huang Jiandu's face was ugly for a while, then he took a deep breath and waved the long sword in his hand with all his strength, preparing to forcibly intercept the bullet. Bang, Doke's sword collided with Caitlin's bullet. I have to say that there is still a chance. Clang. After the bullet and the long sword collided, a bright spark erupted. Then a harsh fricative sound came out. The corner of Huang Jiandaoqi's mouth raised slightly, he felt that he had cut the bullet. But in an instant, the smile on the corner of his mouth disappeared. Click. Caitlin's bullet pierced his lifelong sword directly, and then passed through the long sword and hit him directly in the chest. Boom. The bullet exploded in his chest, and a cloud of blood suddenly appeared, giving people a sense of stimulation. Ha ha. So strong. Evildoer. Huang Jiandaoqi twitched his lips, and immediately knelt down and died. This is just the beginning. At this moment, guarding next to the palace master of Tianjian Palace, there is also a supreme quasi-sage and two high-level quasi-sages of Tianjian Palace. These are also one of the 8 swords of the Tianjian Palace, and they are very famous. 8th brother. This supreme quasi-sage and the other 2 high-level quasi-sages let out a roaring sound. They are both 8 absolute swords, and it is normal for them to be brothers. Fang Fan. You devil! You kill innocent people. You will surely die. I want to kill you and avenge my 8th brother. The quasi-sage of Tianjian Palace, who was headed by him, roared, and then rushed towards Fang Fan frantically, with a very fast speed and a strong will. The corners of Fang Fan's mouth raised slightly, and a sarcastic expression appeared on his face. Kill innocent people. You, who is really innocent. If I hadn't risen against the trend just now, I'm afraid my legions and I would have died by now, right? The battle of life and death is never innocent. Fang Fan snorted coldly, his eyes like electricity. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 1350. Relying on one supreme quasi-sage and 2 high-level quasi-sages, he wanted to block his way. Is it possible? Galen, Jax. You are fighting against that quasi-sage. Kyle, the 2 high-level quasi-sages are handed over to you. Caitlin, snipe immediately. Daji, magic output. Fang Fan immediately issued an order. Now it's downwind. The wind and the waves are salted fish. According to the Lord. Whoosh. Galen drew his sword instantly, and the big silver sword shone down from the sky. Demachian justice. Going up is a big move. The momentum seems extremely violent. This is the fighting spirit. Jump cut. Charge blow. The power of the master. Jax's style of play was a little more stable. First, a wave of jump slash flew to the top quasi-sage in Tianjian Palace to deal a certain blow to him, and then Grandmaster's power exploded directly, attacking power and defense power. Enhanced to the extreme. Immediately holding a street lamp-shaped weapon, he smashed it frantically. Bang bang bang. A cloud of blood appeared in front of everyone, and after being besieged by Galen and Jax, this supreme quasi-sage of Tianjian Palace directly became a reservoir dog, or the kind that was madly beaten. As soon as the contact was started, the loss was already heavy. According to this momentum, Liang is only a matter of time. As for the other 2 high-level quasi-sages of Tianjian Palace, one has been killed by Caitlin, and then Kyle has also forcefully killed one. These quasi-sages of Tianjian Palace gradually disappeared, and the master swordsman of Tianjian Palace in a dying state gradually appeared in front of Fang Fan. A supreme quasi-sage, it should be able to burst out a few higher quality quasi-sage cards. Fang Fan smiled secretly, and the smile on his face couldn't help but become more. Thinking about it this way, everything showed the way it should have been. Fang Fan, are you really sure you've decided on me by yourself? You are too arrogant. Do you really think that I'm just playing cards like this? The face of Sword Master, the master of the Tianjian Palace, suddenly distorted, and a crazy look flashed in his eyes. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, looking rather indifferent. Immediately holding the 4-star holy sword, he was ready to personally go on the field to slaughter it. The master of the Tianjian Palace, Jianzun, is indeed an absolute quasi-sage, but an absolute quasi-sage in a dying state, it's not worth much. Fang Fan smiled to himself, and then strode forward. Fang Fan, you forced me to do this. I will kill you today, even if I fight your Xiao Yuan to plummet. Summon the ancestors. Sword transmission. The Lord of Heavenly Sword Palace, Jianzun, looked ugly for a while, and then he chopped off his other arm with trembling hands. Cutting off one arm felt that it wasn't enough, then he held his own long sword and cut off a pair of his ears. Crazy blood is gradually gathering, a blood-colored law is gradually taking shape. In the magic circle, a powerful aura gradually came. Destroy that magic circle. Fang Fan frowned, and then ordered the heroes. It just seems a little late now. A sword flew out from the blood-colored array, and along with the sword came an old man with white hair and beard. Ancestor. The master of the Tianjian Palace, Jianzun, saw the old man and burst into tears. At this moment, his legs are broken, one hand is missing, and both ears are blocked, the whole body is filled with blood. The current Heavenly Sword Palace Sword Master has long since lost his arrogance and dignity, and is now as humble as an ant.